Hey everybody, it's Miss Carrie, and I'm going to hold this up here real quick so we can discuss our exercise on page 13 about the tie. The tie is basically a line that's going to connect two notes together. What we'll do for the tie is play the first note, but we'll sustain the second note, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to play the first note, and you're going to let the second note that's connected to the tie ring out for however long of duration that note is for. So for example, the first one that we see here is going to be a C note, and it's in a 3/4 beat, so we'll be holding this dotted half note out for 3 beats. And then our second C note will also hold out for 3 beats, okay? Our next note is a G open, and it's going to be, G 3rd fret 1st string, and it'll be tied to the G again, and it's another dotted half note. We'll be letting that one ring out for 3 beats as well. Next, we have an E open 1st string note, so we'll be playing the E open 1st string note for 3 beats, and then letting it ring out for another 3 beats. The last section here, our last two measures, will have a C 1st fret 2nd string tied to a quarter note C, so we'll let it ring out for 1 beat in the next measure, okay? So one quick thing I want to say here about ties is you can have different notes tied to different types of notes, as you see here in these last two measures. So we have a half note tied to a quarter note. Basically, you can have anything tied to anything. So you can have a whole note tied to a whole note. You can have a half note tied to a half note, or a half note tied to a quarter note tied to a half note, so on and so forth. So ties can be tied to anything. Keep in mind later on down the line, we're going to learn about slurs. And slur is basically the same line that goes over the two notes. It looks exactly the same, but it's a different meaning. The way that you're going to know the difference between a slur and a tie, ties will be the same lettered notes, okay? So they could be different types of notes, like whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, dotted half notes, so on and so forth. But the letters will be the same if it's a tie. If it's a slur, the letters are not going to be the same. We will not actually see any slurs in book 1, but you may hear me going over it in more intermediate to advanced lessons. We don't actually learn about slurs until book 3 of our Mel Bay series, okay? So I'm going to play this exercise really quickly with you guys for the tie that I just held up a second ago. Keep in mind, this little section here is in a 3/4 time, so we'll be counting to 3, okay? When we start off, we'll be hitting a C. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then G, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then E, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and C, 2, 3, 1, and rest on the last 2 beats, okay? So keep in mind, you're letting the second note ring out. Don't strike the note that's connected to the tie, okay? Let that note ring out for whatever duration of time that note is worth, okay? So keep in mind, when you're playing on an electric guitar here like I am, the note will sustain very easily. If you're playing on a steel string acoustic guitar, the note will also sustain very nicely. If you're playing on a nylon acoustic guitar, generally because it's a softer string, the tonality is going to basically, cut out. So keep in mind when you're doing that, if the sound of the note does not extend for the full value of time that it's supposed to be for, don't play the note again, just count out what's left of the dead air. Let me give you guys an example. If you have a whole note tied to a whole note, that's a total of 8 beats, so you're counting to 4 twice. If you're on a nylon acoustic guitar, that note is more than likely not going to sound out for that full duration of 8 beats. So just keep counting whatever's left of the time, okay? So remember, don't hit the note again. So in our next couple of songs, we will be using ties, so I'll note them in there. The next song we're going to see it in is Red River Valley. Keep in mind the tie extends down onto the second line, okay? We'll talk a little bit more in depth in that when we play the song. So anyway, that's page 13. That's our little lesson on the tie, okay? Hope you guys understand and keep practicing. Check you guys in the next video.